Hello, so I am going to show you how we are going to create a recipe in the My Macros Plus app by creating a recipe here. And we're gonna do a simple one to start off with. Anytime we're starting to create recipes with the My Macros Plus app, try to aim for something more simple, and then the more we're used to using the app and the custom entries that we're making are starting to be inputted and create our custom library, then we can feel more comfortable about creating more in-depth recipes. But what I wanted to share with you is one of my absolute favorites. It's a great snack to boost up protein a little bit, boost up carbs. It's low in fat. It really just depends on how much of the ingredients you choose to use. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a protein yogurt bowl. I like to do mine in a mason jar, but you could do it however way you'd like. If you choose to do it in like a mason jar, you can make like 3 or 4 of these and have them ready for the week for a snack, a quick go-to snack. And then it's already gonna be a recipe saved in your My Macros Plus app, which I'm gonna switch over back and forth to show you how to do what it is that I'm talking about by logging and then getting a visual on what we're doing here in the kitchen. So I'm gonna turn on my scale, I'm gonna put my jar on here, and I'm gonna zero it out. And what that does is takes away the weight of the jar, and it's just gonna measure whatever I put into the jar. My settings is on grams, so we're good there. And we're gonna start off with a Greek yogurt. This is Okios 000 Greek yogurt, it's mixed berry. This has 15 grams of protein. The nutrition label came on the box. I already have this in my custom entries, but when we're doing a recipe, we wanna make sure that we have all of the ingredients already in our app saved under custom entries. When we're making a recipe, this is not the time to scan the barcode if we're looking to make sure that it's as accurate as it can be. So with the yogurt, create a custom entry first. With the next ingredient like blueberries, create a custom entry first. I'm also gonna use raspberries. I already have a custom entry, and then I'm going to use the Enjoy Life brand mini chocolate chips that are also dairy free, if you want dairy free. Those are also already custom entries that are in my library. So when we're doing a recipe, first thing before we start logging the recipe is making sure that we have those custom entries ready for us. All right, so now that we do have the custom entries, or they're ready for us to put in here, I am going to open this up and I am going to put it into the jar or put it into whatever bowl you're using, and I'm gonna weigh how much is actually in here instead of assuming that whatever the nutrition label says is exactly what's in here, because oftentimes that's not the case. So I'm just putting in the yogurt. Again, this has 15 grams, this specific one has 15 grams of protein and 15 grams of carbs and no fat. But that's based off the nutrition label. So once we enter it into the app under recipes of how much we actually have, it's gonna adjust that, because there is still some in here that I'm not gonna be able to get unless we're looking at clean. So what my scale is showing me is that this yogurt is 146 grams. So we're gonna make note of that on either sheet of paper or write in the app. So I'm gonna write 146 grams yogurt, and then I'm gonna zero out the scale. Going into my next ingredient, we're going to add blueberries. And so I already have this entry in my app as a custom entry, and I'm just gonna take a handful and just put it in here. The scale's already zeroed out, so it's gonna measure how many blueberries in grams I'm putting in. It says 27 grams. So there's 27 grams of blueberries here. I'm gonna write that down. All right, zero out the scale again. The next ingredient I'm gonna put into this protein yogurt bowl, which is also really nice, like a dessert treat with the added chocolate chips. I'm gonna do raspberries. Sometimes I like to switch it up and do strawberries, or just a bunch of strawberries, no blueberries. I change up the ingredients occasionally. So we're gonna do 28 grams of, I love raspberries, 28 grams raspberries. Okay, so we're done with that. And then the next ingredient I'm gonna add are the mini chocolate chips. I'm actually gonna take this off and I'm gonna put a smaller bowl on here and zero it out, because sometimes these are so lightweight that the scale doesn't pick it up when it's like in with this recipe. The yogurt will catch it just right and kind of like cushion it so it doesn't pick it up. So just for an added measure of accuracy, I'm going to weigh the chocolate chips in a separate bowl. And we're gonna do, I feel like knowing the content of this already, we're gonna do about 10 grams. Sometimes I tap the scale to kind of let it catch up with how much we're putting in here. Still at 9 grams. Hey, these extra like 5-10 chocolate chips, totally worth it. Boom, we're hitting 10 grams. And now I am going to just dump it in here. Boom. We'll write down 10 grams dairy-free chocolate chips. All right, that's our recipe. We're done with making it. So I'm gonna grab a lid and then put it away for later on this evening. So especially this is great for a sweet tooth, if I have a sweet tooth. You can double this if you like. You can put 2 of these in here. You can put a bunch more raspberries in here, whatever you want. You can put in here into your recipe. And the main thing is to just make sure that we are recording what ingredients we're putting into our snack or our dinner or whatever. Write it down on a piece of paper so that way we can, or do it in the app, so that way we can create that recipe through My Macros Plus. Okay, so now that you've seen me actually create the recipe here in the kitchen in my mason jar, here's what it looks like in the app. When it comes time to create the recipe in the app, what we're gonna do is go here in this upper corner, upper left-hand corner, click that, and we're gonna hit recipes. And as I stated earlier, we already have the ingredients listed under our custom and faves by creating the add custom food, by creating these custom entries. So we're already ready with these ingredients because they're in our custom and faves. If you haven't put the ingredients in as custom entries down here to save into your custom and faves library, you have to do this before we create the recipe for the greatest accuracy. So since we already have that, we're gonna go here to recipes and we're gonna hit up here, create new recipe. We're gonna name this recipe. I'm gonna call it a protein yogurt bowl or jar, whatever you wanna name. And then we're gonna hold off on the total servings here and we're gonna go to add ingredient. We're gonna go to custom and faves over here, and because we already have all of our ingredients in our custom fave library, everything's already in grams as best as we can, we're going to type in yogurt. There it is. So the 000 blended Greek yogurt, I already have it here. I'm gonna click that. So it's got the check mark in it. I'm gonna do the next ingredient, which is going to be the blueberries. Here's my custom entry for blueberries. The next one is going to be raspberries right here. And I know I'm pulling from my custom and faves. And the next one is going to be dairy-free chocolate chips right here. So I have all of my ingredients. So the next thing I'm gonna do is hit this back button and you'll see all of my ingredients here and they're already listed in grams. This is where we're going to adjust our ingredient and we're going to write, or our amount for the yogurt. When we weighed it earlier on the scale, it was 146 grams yogurt. So we're gonna save. Then we're gonna go down to blueberries. We did 27 grams of blueberries. Raspberries, we did 28 grams. And you can see as I'm adjusting the grams, the macros are being adjusted here as well for me because I've already have these saved as custom entries. The dairy-free chocolate chips, we did 10 grams. Boom. And now, if you scroll down a little bit more, all of the ingredients, it's showing that the entire jar is 202.4 calories with 3.55 grams fat, 25.9 grams carbs, and 15.68 protein. And you can see where everything is coming from based on the ingredients. So there's 14.6 grams protein in that yogurt and 13.6 grams carbs in it. That's where majority of the carbs are coming from, along with the dairy-free chocolate chips. And then our fruit 3.2, 3.13. And you can adjust this recipe however way you see fit. You don't have to add the dairy-free chocolate chips if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. So now looking up here at the serving, there's a few ways you can do this. You can either name it as one jar, and this is the ingredient list for one jar, and you're good to go there. Or you can add all of these grams up and put the total gram amount up here for that. Because this is more of a snack and not necessarily like a meal with a bunch of ingredients in it, that like chili or something, I'm just gonna put in one jar. And I know, because this is a custom entry, I know what one jar is, and I know that I'm accurate in my measurements. So scrolling down, nutrition information for one jar is all of this good stuff. And now I'm gonna hit done and save. And I can scroll down to find it. Where'd it go? Protein yogurt jar right here. So I'm gonna click it. Now that I've saved the recipe, I'm gonna enjoy my protein yogurt jar. So I'm gonna click it, and I'm gonna change it as an afternoon snack. I finished one jar. I'm gonna finish one jar. If I only do half a jar, I could do 0.5, but typically I'm gonna finish it because I'm hungry. And you'll see all of the nutrition information here. I'm gonna hit check mark. And then this is crucial for us to know, especially in the future, if we save this recipe, but we're not gonna be exactly 27 grams with blueberries or exactly 28 grams with raspberries, or maybe we wanna add strawberries. This is where I like to add this as individual ingredients. So we can save this as individual ingredients or as a single item. If we save it as a single item, it just puts it down as a protein yogurt jar, one jar, and then your macros. If we do ingredients, which we're gonna do here, and click over, we're gonna see, I had chocolate truffles this afternoon. I'm gonna put that as a morning snack, so it's out of the way. All right, so we're gonna see here in our afternoon snack, the 28 grams raspberries, 10 grams chocolate chips, 27 grams blueberries, and 146 gram of the yogurt. So if we happen to want to have this again tomorrow, what we can do is click on afternoon snack, and it's gonna pop up with this menu. Hit copy, and then you can mark it for the next day. And then you can leave this all exactly like it is and hit save. When it comes time to make this tomorrow, if we don't already have one pre-made because we've already prepped 3 of them or 4 of them at once, if we're going to make it again tomorrow, this is what we're gonna look for on our scale. We'll dump out your yogurt, and it might be 145, in which case you'll click it and you'll adjust it to 145. And then let's say we don't have raspberries. So I'm gonna delete raspberries altogether, but I still have blueberries, and we're gonna do 35 grams. So it allows you to adjust the recipe how you see fit right in the app. And then let's say we do only 5 grams of chocolate chips because we put some cheese on our eggs this morning, and that's where we want our fat to go. So it can readjust your afternoon snack. It readjusts this specific snack, not the actual recipe. So when we go back in here and we find the protein yogurt jar, our original recipe is right there. And then that's the benefit of adding it as individual ingredients. Now, if you happen to make like 4 or 5 of these and you know that these measurements are accurate in every one of them, then you can add it as a single item and it shows up as protein yogurt jar, 1 jar. And then you can copy it over to the next day and the next day. So this was more of creating a simple snack recipe. This is also something that you can do with snack trays if you want to get out snack trays and put different snacks and veggies and fruits in them, so that way it's something you can grab and go. You can create a general snack tray recipe and then add it into your day or into your week as individual items through that recipe like you saw, and adjust your quantities there. And it makes using the app and tracking a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. One of the key things though is to make sure we have our custom entries already entered into the app. So I hope this was helpful.